So if you're 14 and you want a reason to wear makeup to help you with your spots, say Caroline said I can wear makeup.
There you have it.
But you don't need fancy skincare.
What is the best way to clear your skin?
I mean, we could be here all day. Key is the routine. The product's less so, it's doing it every day.
Do you use any skincare tools?
No, I lied.
Yeah.
A flannel.
A
flannel is my tool.
So underrated.
Not by my lot.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Space NK YouTube channel. My name is Raquel and today I'm joined by a very special host, Caroline Hirons.
Hi.
Welcome to the channel.
Thank you for having me.
We're very excited.
It's very nice, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very bougie, love.
Very bougie. Cakes smell too good. I'm totally distracted. I keep going.
We're going to not look at them for the duration. So we're going to get through.
Cake.
We're going to try and get through 21 questions with Caroline Hirons, and we're going to be talking about morning routines, skincare for teens, as well as best products for acne. So are you ready?
As ready as I'll ever be.
Let's go. So question number one, for those who don't know you, who are you and what do you do?
So I am Caroline Hirons. I am the founder of Skin Rocks, which is beautifully sold in Space NK. I've been in the industry for nearly 30 years. I'm a facialist. I was a brand consultant. I actually worked in Space NK 26 years ago. 26 years ago, God. So yeah, I kind of live and breathe the beauty industry.
Absolutely. Question number two, what made you start a skincare brand?
Insanity. When I moved into consulting, you kind of, I did it for a few years, a number of years, and you just get to the point where you're like, all you're doing is telling people how to do things. Do it yourself.
I'm going to start this myself. Yeah.
Pee or get off the pot.
Basically. Question number three, what is the first Skin Rocks product that you developed?
The first one that we launched was retinoid, because honestly, it was the first one that was ready, but we started everything in tandem. So what I wanted to launch was all put into chemists and then, development. And then we had all the various iterations of them. But the first ones that were ready were the retinoid 1 and 2.
Question number four, what has been the best part about launching Skin Rocks?
All of it, really. I always say I have two lives. I have my family life and then I have what I do with my life. And that's Skin Rocks, the brand, the team. And I love every day is different. So the best part has just been having full autonomy and not having to sort of
answer to anyone.
Yeah. Frankly, I'm not really good at that. It's not one of my strengths.
That's okay. I don't think it's a lot of people's strengths. Question number five, what's been your biggest challenge regarding Skin Rocks?
Other people's bad behavior, money, hiring brilliant people who, when you get them, you cling onto them like glue. Yeah, I think I've always tried to do everything with a very ethical approach. I'm very straightforward. I'm very honest. But when you're female, that gets transferred to gobby and opinionated.
Right.
And I'm like, if you wouldn't ask me that question if I was a man. I don't mean you. I mean, in general, I've been in situations where I'm at tables with men and they'll ask you something you think, wow, you're comfortable asking me that. So it's kind of the constant questioning of other people. Like, it's a strange thing, but I am me. I'm able to sort of bat it back. I never lose sight of the fact that I'm older, I'm qualified. I've been in the industry a long time, and the people who are sitting at the table very rarely know more than I do.
Yeah.
And so I always try and think about the people who are coming up behind me, especially the young women who are coming into the industry and the entrepreneurs. And I just think, if I can do anything to make their path easier than it's been for me, why wouldn't I?
And kind of like set the way, like set the tone.
Yeah, and if that means I get called gobby and opinionated, so be it.
Question number six is, what is your current skincare routine, AM and PM?
So my PM routine is always our cleansing balm.
Yeah.
Always.
One of my faves.
Yeah, that's got to be done. I would also follow it with our cream cleanser. Depending on the day, I will go straight in with retinoid 2 and our eye cream. So that would be an easy PM there. There you go. It's a lot of banging, sorry. No, so that's an easy PM. If my skin is particularly dry or I'm wearing a lot of makeup like today because we're shooting, I might follow up with support oil afterwards just to be like a nice cushion, like a cashmere blanket on your face. And then the morning can be much more... I like my morning better because I feel like I'm prepping my skin for the day. So the morning, more clanging, sorry sound. The morning would be cleanse with our cream cleanser, for example, and then either or. I do both, but I've got skin that's used to it. Gentle acid. This is a non-negotiable every day. The antioxidant, that's our vitamin C. Eye cream, moisturizer, and then usually an ultraviolet SPF.
Oh, I love ultraviolet.
They're the
SPF as
best.
well,
They're the
yeah.
best. Everyone says, when are you going to make an SPF? And I'm like, when I finally get one from the chemist that I would use before I would use ultraviolet.
Yeah,
And I've
absolutely.
told them, I'm like, you're my benchmark. I'm not going to release one until I think, oh, this is as good as or better than yours.
So watch this space.
Yeah, but don't hold me to it for a long time. I've got other things coming first.
Perfect. Question number 7. With the rise of TikTok, we've seen kids as young as 10 get into skincare. What age do you think a skincare routine should start, and ultimately, what do they need in their skincare routine?
It depends on um, their hormones. For the girls,
Mm.
especially, if the girls have started their periods,
Mhm.
then they might have skin that needs attention
Mhm.
because the hormones are raging, right? And similar with the boys, but they tend to be a bit later. The boys
Yeah.
tend to be 13, 14, not always. They need to wash their face and they need
Properly.
to wear an SPF.
Mm.
And that's also the age where they get into makeup.
Mhm.
And if you're going to wear makeup, you're going to have to wash it off. So you
Mm.
have to teach your child how to wash their face properly, which
Mm.
when you're younger, for me, unequivocally involves a flannel. You have
Mm.
to use a washcloth
Mm.
because the splashing just doesn't work. And most of them, they want to be everything quick and lazy in the best, nicest,
Way, yeah.
done it before 4 times with my kids way. And so, a cleanser, a moisturizer, and an SPF, and they're fine.
Mm.
If they have skin problems, then that's different. You can use other things to help tackle, if they've got spots or breakouts or whatever. But in general, just keep it very, very simple. They
Mm.
don't need anything fancy. They don't need anything just because it's in pink packaging. Just keep it simple.
Question number 8. What would be the ideal morning routine for someone with acne-prone skin?
A child or someone older or just anyone?
Anyone.
Anyone. So they need to wash their face
Mhm.
with something not very oily, then go in with a control acid, which is a 2% BHA. We put
Mhm.
other stuff in there to make it sexier, obviously.
Of course.
And then I'm prone to saying just do your antioxidant, your moisturizer, your SPF, and go.
Mhm.
Because generally, unless you're talking perimenopausal, you're looking at an age demographic that doesn't really need an eye cream.
Mhm.
If you think about people who have acne, generally they're teen to early 20s,
Mhm.
and it's a sweeping generalization. If you're over 30 and you have spots, you're going to throw in an eye cream as well. I hate to add to your load, but you should. Really, though, with the acne, you can treat it in the evening. So in the evening, you would take your makeup off if you're wearing makeup. If you don't wear makeup, you can use just one cleanse. If you do, use two.
Yeah.
You can do the control acid in the evening if you prefer, but you should go in with a retinoid. So
Mm.
the retinoid in the evening will make the difference in helping to get the cell turnover and to bring the spots to the surface. And that's kind of what we're trying to do. I mean, vitamin A was sort of found, if you like, in the late 60s, early 70s by a doctor that was testing it on acne patients. It was only
Right.
the anti-aging benefits of it were discovered because of that. So
Mm.
it's an acne product first.
I don't think a lot of people know that. Now we do.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Okay, so question number 9 is, and I think we've kind of covered this,
Okay.
but what is a skincare routine that you'd recommend for teens?
A cleanser,
Yeah.
preferably fragrance-free,
Mhm.
a good SPF, and they can do that, and that can be enough. If
Mm.
they have a particularly dry skin, they might want to use a light moisturizer as well. And that's kind of it.
Yeah.
All the bells and whistles, if they want to do a sheet mask and a hydrating this and that, I always like to say, your skin in your teens, aside from the very real problem of people who do have things like acne,
Yeah.
but your skin in your teens and your early 20s is the best it's ever going to be in terms of tone and bounce.
Mm.
You don't need to overload it with things. Your hydration levels are usually really high. So taking away the rule of, someone has eczema, psoriasis, acne, obviously they're very serious concerns, treating those separately. For the average balanced skin, I don't use the word normal because who
Mm.
knows what normal is. If your
Normal.
skin is balanced, do as little as you can. As long as you are washing it and using an SPF, you're good to go for years.
Less is more.
Less is more.
Got it. Question number 10. What order should you do your skincare routine in?
Just in general,
Yes.
cleanse. Well, we've made it easy. We've numbered everything 1 to
Yes,
5.
I've
So
noticed.
cleanse,
Mhm.
tone,
Mhm.
treat, and then you're going to moisturize and then protect. It looks like it's a lot, but it's really not. You wash your face, you then do the lightest to thickest in general. You would
Right.
do your toner or a mist, for example. And then I do eye cream, serum, moisturizer, SPF. That's kind of it. And in the evening, you're going to do a double cleanse.
Mhm.
So 2 cleanses. If you're wearing makeup and SPF,
Yeah.
take your time to get it off properly. An acid or a retinoid, for example, and your eye cream. And then you're kind of good to go. Some faces need a bit more moisture or a bit more oil.
Mhm.
Either or, but they're very different things. Remember that a moisturizer is hydration and an oil is oil. They're different. They're oil and water.
Yeah. Question number 11. A lot of people, young and old, suffer with acne or hormonal spots. What is the best way to clear your skin using skincare products and also in terms of lifestyle changes?
I mean, we could be here all day.
I know.
The thing is, when you talk about lifestyle changes, I feel like certain brands or people on TikTok, and I'm talking about the professionals, not the influencers and the kids doing it. There's a little bit of blame attached to me when you talk about lifestyle changes, because it's easy to say to someone, well, if you did this and this, your acne would get better. You have absolutely no way of knowing that. You have no way of knowing that. So although there are certain things you can do, like changing your pillowcases regularly, which doesn't seem a lot, but to a lot of young men,
Yeah, they
that
forget.
doesn't happen that often. I hate to be sexist about it, but I have raised 3 sons. So changing your pillowcases regularly, having a good solid skincare routine, just a routine. The key is the routine. The product's less so, it's doing it every day, you know? There is a lot to be said for diet, but it's also linked to your gut.
Yeah.
So if you have breakouts and acne, if your GP says, I'm going to send you for a referral, that will obviously take preference over someone who's been waiting because they just have acne, because it's not life-threatening. So the backlog is a real thing. So it very much depends on what you can afford. Can you afford a private dermatologist? Do you need a private dermatologist? Or do you have general hormonal breakouts and you wouldn't class it as acne? That's the...
It's like deciphering the difference, right? And that's quite difficult.
And a lot of GPs will openly say they don't know enough about acne and what to prescribe. And so they will pass you over to a dermatologist, when actually, if you have just got hormonal changes that are resulting in breakouts, it is treatable without going down that route. Product-wise, again, you're going to look for vitamin A, so adapalene, retinoids. And I would try and encourage you to use fewer items. People with acne tend to, in my experience, especially young people, they think if they strip it, it's better. And that's not true. So what you do is you exacerbate the acne by giving yourself dehydration. And dehydrated skin means your barrier is also compromised. And so you just create this melting pot. But again, it's not blame. It's just you're so desperate to get rid of it that you'll try anything, you know? So the best thing to do is to do a modified routine. I know it sounds terrible to try and live with it. Wearing makeup actually helps.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, wearing makeup helps because it stops you picking it.
Right.
And they dry out. Now, if you, anyone who's had a big fat zit and you've covered it all day at work, when you go home at night and you wash your face, it will be less annoying, unless it's obviously the day before you get the huge, you know, eruption.
Yeah.
But it does help it dry out, and it protects it from further aggressions, and it protects it from you picking it, because you never pick your skin when you're wearing makeup.
No, you're always conscious of it when
So if you're
wearing makeup.
14 and you want a reason to wear makeup to help you with your spots, say, Caroline said I can wear makeup.
There you have it.
But you don't need fancy skincare.
Question number 12. What were your first skincare products that you purchased?
That I purchased, well, this was back in the 1950s. No, it wasn't really, not quite that bad. Probably something from the big 5. I had access to skincare because my mum and grandmother both worked in the industry.
Wow, okay.
So I was shown all of the big 5, as you would think, in department stores. One from one of those. But I very swiftly moved on to sort of the brands that spoke more about skin, like a Clarins. And then I started working at Space NK, and then I became a Dar fangirl.
Oh,
And
bougie.
yeah, I loved a bit of Darfan. Yeah. And now, I mean, it wasn't like it was now. It used to be you'd go into Space NK and it would have, I'm going to say this anyway. You go into Space NK, and obviously we know the format. It was because I was around when Clean and Green was coming up.
Okay.
I mean, way before that. But Eve Lom was the middle line.
Yeah.
So it would be Clean and Green, Eve Lom, High Tech. Yeah. And that was how it was sold. And now I feel like it's just much more abundant of brands who can do both and cross over. There's no like middle line. Now you go in and you're like, you know, you'd expect to see all the doctor brands together. And I'm like, whatever, I want to be there. And when I walked in and the first time I saw us on shelf and we were there, I was like, yes, yes.
Such a lovely moment though for your brand to be on the shelf in Space NK where you started.
Literally.
In the store, on the shop floor.
Literally.
Amazing.
As a store manager. I know.
Wow. Okay, so question number 13. Can you think of a moment in time that really changed the trajectory and landscape of the skincare industry?
Oh, loads.
Okay, let's get into a couple.
I don't know if we can talk about traditional brands, but some of the traditional brands did things like a 3-step without naming a brand. You'll know who that is. Eve Lom with a cloth.
Yeah.
That might not be a big deal to some people, but it was groundbreaking. Liz Earle knocked her off, said so to me, verbatim, because I used to work for her. And so loads like that. You know, The Ordinary launching,
Yeah.
loads of things like that where you think, oh, this is going to be fun. This is going to be different. You know, when vitamin C first came out, everyone was like, why would you want to put an orange on your face? That's how old I am. And so, you know, when retinoids started coming through, it was like, why haven't we done this before? Why are we keeping it all over here and letting it be a prescription when actually
Sciencey,
it's not dangerous? It can
Mm.
help people and be more affordable. So yeah, loads. I find it thrilling.
Yeah.
I'd like the book personally.
Time to be alive.
Yeah,
What
I
a
can't.
time.
What a time to be alive. I can't write the book. I'd get sued, but
Mm.
someone else could.
Yeah, you could just
I
kind
could
of
contribute.
exactly in
I
the
could
background.
contribute in a legal fashion.
Question number 14. Can you think of a moment in time that really changed the trajectory and the landscape of your personal journey as a business owner and female entrepreneur?
Yeah, but most of them were before I became a business owner and an entrepreneur,
And so
because they got me into the position to
become.
do that. Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, certainly my first day on the shop floor for Aveda in Harvey Nichols, which is where I met the Space NK team, and that's how I ended up going to Space NK. Quite happily poached. Loved that. Working in Space NK and having access to like 200 at the time, like 200, 250 brands. And this is back in the day where I don't know what happens now, but every single member of staff was trained in every single brand. You know, we also had makeup specialists and skin specialists. And that was different because the training I got there set me up for what became the blog, because people would ask me a question and I knew the answer based on the product. I can look at a product and know if it's going to be useful for your skin or not. So if, you know, it was really good on the shop floor because you would go, you don't need that, you need this. And all I did really was move that onto the blog. People would ask me questions on social media and say, what about this? And I go, you don't need that, but I would give them an alternative. And things like when I started to get traction on the blog and be taken seriously by the big players, that's kind of groundbreaking. When you know that you're then leading an opinion, people are looking for your opinion on things.
And how long would you say it took on the blog for it to then
Not
gain
that long. I
traction?
launched the blog in 2010. And by 2012, I was being sort of, I mean, you get invited to things. And at the time, no one was doing skincare. But 2012, 2014, I think sort of, it was pretty much just me. And then everyone else was behind because I was older, qualified in the industry. I had access they didn't have. So I'm aware of all the privileges I had. But I did work my behind off.
Yeah. Question number 15. Is there anything within the skincare industry that you wish you could change? And if so, what?
Marketing department.
Let's dig in.
Marketing departments. Stop trying to sell to people through fear. It's my biggest bugbear. I hate the term anti-aging. I'm pro-aging. I said this on my very first YouTube video with Sam and Nick Chapman. I'm pro-aging. What's the other option? It's going to happen to all of us if we're lucky.
Yeah.
I'm not big on selling product through fear. I'm not big on selling product through using images of young people, especially if a product's made for someone my age. That is the first thing. I'm not going to buy your product. If you are selling me a product, I remember years ago on Twitter, someone, and I won't name any brands, obviously. You're welcome, Space NK Legal. I was on Twitter and a very big brand, one of the big ones, launched a product for someone older than me. And at the time, I must have been like 40, 45. And they used Cara Delevingne as the image.
Oh, she was like a teenager.
And I said, I could have given birth to this person. You're not selling me the product, you're insulting me. And that was one of the other times that it kind of went a bit like, whew, you know. So things like that.
Any regrets with the tweet?
No, not one.
Standing on it.
Stand on them, stand by them, stand in them all day, every day.
Question number 16. Is there anything you miss about working at Space NK?
Discount.
Simple. Standard. No. Got to be said.
I miss my staff discount.
Yeah.
I miss my allocation.
Yeah.
I miss access to playing with all the colour.
Yeah.
Playing with all the colour. And I miss the interaction with the day-to-day customers on the shop floor, which I get now if I go into a store for sure. But that was the best times. I mean, one of the old crew, as we call ourselves, from kind of the original sort of 17 to 18 doors. There was a whole group of us, and pretty much all of us went on to do other things that were bigger and, you know, in the industry in terms of running companies and all that sort of stuff. And someone posted a picture and I was like, oh my God, that's that. And you kind of have to wrap your head around that it's 25 years ago.
Wow.
You know? So it was a great time to work in retail because there was no online. It didn't exist. We were the resource. People would come to us for information.
You were the authority, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And people trusted that.
Maybe that's why I just carried that attitude all the way through. I am the authority.
Yeah. Now I have my own brand. Listen to me.
You will not tell me. I know, God.
Okay. And then question number 17. Do you use any skincare tools?
No. My hands.
No
No.
masks, no...
I have all of them.
Right.
If I'm being real, I am too lazy.
Okay.
I would like to have the time to go for regular facials and have someone use tools on me.
Right.
I've got no time for a gua sha.
Mhm.
I'm going to be dead soon. I'm sorry. I can't be sitting there rubbing jade all over my face. I'm sorry. I don't mind an LED mask. I have about 5.
Right.
Do I use them regularly? No. No. And I'm very careful when I talk about it. When I talk about them to people, I say, look, I have them all. I'm going to be straight with you. I don't use them every day. And if you want to see a result, you have to use LED every day.
Every day.
Every day on naked skin. Don't be
Right.
sold any serum for underneath. Naked skin.
Got you.
So, no is the answer. I would like to say, yeah, a flannel. I lied.
Yeah.
A flannel.
A
A
good
flannel
old
is my tool.
Yeah, a good old flannel. But, you know, underrated.
Not by my lot.
Question number 18 is, what is one skincare brand that you think is underrated?
Besides mine, obviously.
Of course. Well, I don't think
Obviously.
yours is underrated. I think...
Fine.
You
I'll let you have that.
Yeah.
Skincare brand that's underrated. Okay. Oh, I've got one. I've got one. Rome.
Ooh,
Rome.
interesting.
Yeah, by Jo Elner.
Well, I've heard a lot about the active bone broth.
Yeah, REOME.
Yes.
I would trust anything she released.
Ah, fantastic. Okay. And she'll be on the channel very soon. So excited.
There you go. Tell her that I was nice about her and to promote my product too.
Yes, we'll make sure that she knows. Question number 19 is, what is one skincare product or ingredient that you think is underrated?
Underrated. I'll tell you what's overrated. Overrated. Hyaluronic acid.
Really?
Niacinamide.
Mm-hmm.
They're in everything now.
Yeah.
They're great individually. We've rinsed hyaluronic acid.
Yeah.
It's in everything. You don't need a separate hyaluronic acid. And I used to say that myself 10, 15 years ago. I would say the same thing. We learn, we move on, we grow. We listen and we don't judge.
Exactly. But underrated.
Underrated glycerin.
Oh.
Plain old glycerin.
Really?
Yeah. Cheap as chips. There's not a better softener or skin moisturizer on the market.
Right.
Now, the form it takes, obviously we have glycerin on our moisturizers and we can add things to it and make it a more refined, enjoyable use.
Yeah.
But in terms of, you know, everyone goes fandangled about this and retinoids and da-da-da and peptides, glycerin.
A good old glycerin-based moisturizer. Question number 20. If you were trapped on a desert island, I always feel really harsh asking this question, but if you were trapped on a desert island, what would be the one skincare product that you'd take with you?
My antioxidant. I'm not taking a vitamin. I'm not going to take a separate vitamin C and an SPF because I'm on an island. It's going to last me, what, a week and then it's gone?
Yeah.
And then I'm going to be sunburned anyway. I'm going to take my antioxidant, get my protection, but have a glow in case there's also a separate individual on the island who's quite hot.
Absolutely. Would be rude not to. And then the final question, question number 21. What's the ultimate highlight of working, or your ultimate highlight of working within the skincare industry?
The people, the friendships I've made, all of my mates. I realised quite shockingly that literally, and I'm sure it happens to everyone else in their workplace, maybe it doesn't, but outside of my childhood friends, all of my friends are industry related. I live and breathe it. When we go out to socialise, it's all mates. You know, when we went to the Marie Claire Awards and we go to the CW Awards and things like that. And it's like hanging out with friends. So the relationships.
It's a nice village, right?
Yeah.
It's your people.
Yeah, my people, my tribe.
Well, thank you so much, Caroline.
Thank you for having me.
That completes our 21 questions with Caroline Hirons. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I've got so much information from you, Caroline, so I will be noting some of those points down. We can eat cake now. Guys, if you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and we'll see you very, very soon.
And subscribe.
And subscribe, exactly. Exactly. See you guys very soon. Bye.